Hello everyone, welcome back. Patrick here. In today's video, we are going to talk about Palantir. This is a company that I'm quietly making one of my top positions. And you know what? The company is very controversial. You guys know that a lot of people completely despise it and think it's worth $2 or $5 or another like goofy price. In my opinion, the fact that people completely misunderstand the company is what creates this opportunity for us as investors. Right? If everyone like saw the big picture, and the stock went back to 40 bucks, it wouldn't be a great opportunity. It's the fact that it's at 10, 12, 15 bucks that makes it, in my opinion, a great time to actually load up on shares and build a big positions. So that's what I want us to talk about today. Like, what is it that they don't understand? Or even in some cases, like it's either they're dumb and they don't get it, or it's by design and they're just frankly lying to you, right? So it's either one of those, and I'll try to like demystify it a little bit for you. So first, you guys know one of the big criticism for the company has always been the stock-based compensation. I've made a video about that before. A lot of people have been talking about it on YouTube, right? It's debunked already. Everyone knows that it's not the case, but just to make it very, very short, they're not creating millions and billions of new shares out of thin air. They're not diluting. It's just the people that actually have been working there for years and the executives. The reason why they did that direct listing, right, was so that they could create some liquidity and they could actually sell some of their shares on the open market so that their entire net worth wasn't linked, stuck in Palantir. Now, people want to like go buy a house or go buy a yacht or whatever they want to do with their money, right? And that's what created like this selling pressure that we've seen over the past couple of years that people have misunderstood as the company diluting a lot of shares. Now, I hope we finally cleared that off, right? That's not a real concern. Alex Karp already mentioned in the conference calls that they are fully aware of this and they want to align the company to other businesses, right? Other tech companies. Now, if let's say, I don't know, Microsoft offers stock-based compensation, Palantir is going to offer stock-based compensation. But if Microsoft offers, let's say, 120K plus whatever stocks, well, Palantir is not going to offer like 500,000 and 10 times more stock-based compensation. They're going to align the different companies together to where they can attract great engineers, but at the same time, they're not going to give them 10 times more. All right, so I hope we like clear that. People that talk about stock-based compensation, they just clearly don't understand what they're talking about. So I want you to basically ignore that, right? We have to keep monitoring, but it's not that big of a deal. Now, another thing that they often talk about, and you guys know that Cathie Wood actually sold her position, and since then the stock has started to do better. Well, it is the government contracts. Now, again, like who cares about the government contracts? Like there's just a limited market when it comes to that. Like there's what 170 something countries in the world, and we don't want to actually transact with half of those. So that was always going to be a limited total addressable market. Meanwhile, the actual business to business market is gigantic, and the company is just hitting like the tip of the iceberg there. There are like hundreds of billions of dollars to actually be made in that market over time. Look at what Microsoft has achieved. Microsoft, in my opinion, is like the best model for Palantir to follow over the next like 20 years. Because Microsoft actually started like when they were just doing Windows, the company like made some money, right? But it wasn't the giant that it is now. Right now it's worth what, like they must be getting close to 2 billion. So now they have multiple different products in, like they have some business consumer products, they have business to business products, they deal with governments. So you have to realize that Palantir, that's kind of what I see happening with them in the future, is that they are going to expand into other aspects of the like business to business and even maybe at some point business to consumers, right? The sky is the limit because they're both focusing on tools. They're not dedicated to one niche industry. Let's say that you're a healthcare business, right? You're only going to be doing like one thing, and that is healthcare. So that's a pretty big market in itself, but you can't like all of a sudden like go from healthcare to, hey, let's also do real estate, right? They're completely different. But when you're doing software, and you're actually like agnostic to a specific industry, well, that software can be used for every single industry, meaning that the sky's the limit, right? They can do, right now, remember, like they started a new module for crypto. So they're very, very flexible when it comes to the products that they can do in the future. So right now, a lot of people actually like analyze the company based on what they're doing now, the government contracts or the little, their new contracts with the commercial businesses. They don't really see like how they're going to be expanding in the next 10 years, 20 years, and the array of different software that they can do. So that is one of the big things that people have totally misunderstood so far. And let me show you something. I'll switch to my computer, so I'll show you something else. That's another criticism that started to like take root recently, which is completely illogical. So let's talk about another new thing that people have been knocking Palantir on, which is that supposedly it's not scalable. And once again, that demonstrates a complete like lack of understanding of the tech industry. So yeah, right now it does need to have a forward engineer that's going to help the companies integrate the software. So people are using that to say that, hey, Palantir is not actually scalable, so they're always going to be limited in how much revenue they can get and their growth rate. Now, like, the common sense would say, yeah, that makes sense. But when you actually understand how the game works, then you'll realize that that's a completely silly argument to have, and that's not a limiting factor for the company. Now, let me ask you, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Microsoft Azure or Google's cloud or Amazon Web Services. Do you guys think that like the random programmer can just all of a sudden, hey, my company has this, let's go sign up and implement all of that? Of course not. They're huge projects which involve a lot of engineers to like integrate all of that. So every company has that problem. So the way that they're actually solving that is by creating people that have experience doing that and certifying them. So this is an example here where Palantir is going exactly that route. They created that certification program, and what you're going to see in the future is that there's going to be more and more demand for people that have actual like Palantir experience. So this is Indeed. You guys know you can find jobs there. Look at companies like these. Mantech International Corporation. I've never heard of them, but they're looking for a Palantir field service representative. Right, so you are going to see this more and more over the next decade, where people that have experience with Palantir, people are going to be certified on Foundry or Gotham or the other products that they're going to launch. They're going to be deployed in like other businesses. Other businesses are actually going to be hiring them and building teams around them. You're also going to see new businesses coming up that are going to be like doing more consultant work and helping businesses integrate Palantir, Foundry, or whatever like program that they're going to build in the future, the same way that they're doing that now with Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, and those like that. So that's one of the things here that I feel it's another criticism of the company that's based on what exactly? Like, people are looking for problems with Palantir that don't really exist, right? So it's more like short-term little blips on the radar. And if you guys are actually looking for a job and you want to work on that in the future, that's probably going to be a really, really good way to like really get a very good salary. I was looking at them, like some of them are 120,000 or more, right? Last thing I wanted to talk about today about Palantir is we see this recently where people are really focusing on the price rather than the business itself. All right, so here's a guy on Seeking Alpha making articles on Palantir. Look at how the guy over the past year and a half, he was so bullish on the company. Look at all these buy ratings. So $20, 25, all over the place. Buy ratings over and over again in all of his articles, even above like $28. All of a sudden the price drops to $12 and the guy hates it. Do you guys see how illogical that is? Right? The more the price drops, the more excited you should be. That's where the opportunity is to actually build your position and be excited about the stock. Because now if you buy at 12, you only needed to go to 24 for you to double your money. When it was at 28 or even at $40, well, you needed it to go to $56 to double your amount of your profit, right? So it absolutely doesn't make any sense when you analyze it like that. They've done the same thing with Facebook recently. So not this guy specifically, but if you guys remember, when the stock was above 350, people loved Facebook. Oh my gosh, Facebook. It's a complete revenue. Like, oh, they get so much profit. And the metaverse. We're so excited about the metaverse. This is the way of the future. They're going to become like the #1 company in the world with the metaverse. They're going to make so much money. That was when the company was at 350. Then it dropped to $200 or even under 200, and everyone hates Facebook. Facebook is doomed to fail now. No one's using Instagram. No one's using Facebook. Oh, they're getting so damaged by TikTok. TikTok is going to overtake Facebook. And the metaverse, are you kidding? Metaverse is a complete joke. I mean, who's gonna go on the metaverse? You guys realize how stupid this is, right? The more the company drops, the better it is for you as a shareholder, as long as you have money to buy more shares, of course. So, just to conclude on that, I haven't soured on Facebook, but since the company, like, it's not like they're going to 10x from here, at least not in the short term, I'm not as excited about Facebook as I was before, you know, when I just started my position. But when it comes to Palantir, completely different story. At $12 right now, I am extremely bullish on it. I do have a decent position and I do want to buy more. So currently I am scraping my drawers. I might actually be selling out of Enphase since it ran up a decent amount. And my goal is to actually redeploy some of that cash back into Palantir. So guys, let me know in the description what you guys think. Do you think it's a $2 or $5 stock, or do you agree with me that over the next couple of years, this stock will very easily double, triple, or more? Like, my projections is very conservative compared to some of the big Palantir bulls. Like, based on my comparisons of the price to sales ratio, PE ratios, and all that between Palantir and other companies, I'm looking about like $28 between 2024 and 2025. I'd be very happy with it, and I feel like that's fairly conservative based on their 30% annual growth that they project. Now, if they exceed that, maybe we'll see higher than that. I could be overestimating it a little bit, and it's going to be like $22. But either way, the point is, right now at $12, this stock is a complete steal. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. And by the way, I changed the Patreon a little bit. If you guys were looking into it, right now it's only $5 for the Discord warrior. So coming out with us in the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next video.